Hi, my name is Tanya and welcome to my small backyard vegetable garden here in central Victoria. I got a fair few jobs I want to squish into this last hour of light, but first I want to have a look at some cuttings that I took on the 9th of May and I put them into a seed snail. Now this is not the time that you should be taking cuttings at all, but I thought I would try and take some cuttings of the purple salvia I have in the pot at the arch, and I put them into this seed snail, and I have had it living on my gas hot water tank since then. Now there is growth there is not a big root system. One of them has a few little shoots down the bottom, but other stems have tiny little shoots. So this is amazing. I thought this was great, and it was just a trial I thought I'd do, and it is working. So hopefully by spring I'll have lots of salvias ready to plant out. I have had it double bubble wrapped, just keeping the warmth in, and they are nice and cozy in there. They stay very moist and it seems to be ideal for them. I'll just rewrite on what it is and the date because that has faded. I'm trying to keep on the quest of updating all our house plants. Even though this one does not live inside the house, it lives on my front veranda, I want to pot it up into this larger terracotta pot because it is getting very top heavy. I bought this pot and it's been waiting to go into it. There's no better time than now because there has been a lot of wind coming up from the south, and that is the way my front veranda faces. It is really enjoying it out there. I have another couple of rubber plants and another big monstera. I grew up with rubber plants living on our front or back veranda, and now I am here doing the same thing. It just goes to show that nothing ever really changes, it just gets revived. So I'm just using some of the leftover pantyhose that I used for the slings for the cantaloupes or the rock melon. I'm just using that because that blends in nicely with the color of the foliage. I've got a larger bamboo stake. I've just got this little one here. It probably will need a longer one soon, but it will be fine for now. I absolutely love the color of this rubber plant. I also have a dark black burgundy colored and a lime white variegated one. I stopped in at you know where to stock up on some cow manure so I could finish off my raspberries, and they had a few seedlings that I couldn't resist, so I have bought a few dianthus, some celery, and I found 2 punnets of mini cabbages, which I had been looking at back a few weeks ago, but they only sold them in advanced seedling size and they were around $6 per pot. Now these were $4.60 something, and there are 8 plants in each punnet, which I thought was very good. Even though they are very tiny, they have only just been plugged in. It looks like they haven't really settled too much, but I grabbed 2 punnets anyway. I started putting out some of the dried purple climbing beans out over the sweet peas that have just self-seeded along here when I chopped and dropped, just to see how they were going, and they seem to be going okay for now. It's only been a couple of days, but they're looking through the dried beans, so I'm going to push on and do the rest now. I've got all of these. They have had rain on them when we had a bit of rain. This bed is quite dry because everywhere is dry, but I will get them out over it and hopefully it will give them something to climb up through, but also protect the sweet peas from the birds digging around in the garden bed, because they are just sitting on the surface, or not very far into the surface, because they were just dropped there, not planted. Just going to water them in. Like I said, it's very dry, and rake up some of those beans out of the lawn. I love to rake when it is cold. It just warms you up so much. I'm making sure to keep on watering. It is that time of year where it's cold and there's a dampness, but if everything's mulched, or even if it isn't mulched, things are still dry in underneath. So I've got caught a couple of times with the cauliflowers looking a little droopy because they were dry, and I was just thinking that there was plenty of moisture in the bed. I'm keeping all these direct sown seeds under cover. I do not want any birds coming along and digging them up. And the cosmic purple carrots that I thought had seeded in my last video actually weren't. They were grass seeds coming up in the bed. Now, I think I have seen them in this other row, but I'm not going to get too excited. I have had no parsnips germinate yet, or any of the spring onions. See, I don't know if that has come up from the mulch or if it was in the topsoil, but I'm keeping on top of those because I don't want to be pulling them out of tiny little germinated seeds. So I'm keeping them covered, keeping an eye on them. The bed is nice and warm, and I'm just got my fingers crossed. But for now, I'm going to put in the second punnet of dianthus here at the end with the Brussels sprouts. I think they'll be quite pretty there, just filling in all the little gaps. I love these plants. They go across all the seasons from winter right through into summer. They're pretty low maintenance and great little gap fillers. Now, what I didn't get done in my last video was to move some of these beetroot, so I am going to get on with that now. First, I'm going to trim off some of these larger leaves of the cabbages. They are overshadowing the row of beetroot, so I'm just going to tidy up in here. Even though I'm going to be removing some, the rest will still need light. And I'm tidying up the lower leaves of the chard where they're damaged and sitting on the soil. We have been picking from this little row of chard for weeks now, and it is most days, so I'm going to mulch and let it rest and let it catch up because it is only young plants, and we will now pick from the chard I have planted in under the arch. And this is exactly why I love having multiple plantings of greens, like good basic greens that you use all the time, that you can then let it rest, let it catch up, go back to another one. I plan to have another lot planted somewhere, probably. I'll find room for them. And then I have different places we can pick from. These beetroots look absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to be eating beetroot again. I made a delicious roasted beetroot and cauliflower soup. Thankfully, I stashed some in the freezer for some cold days ahead because the color was absolutely beautiful.